Thank you for presentation. I'm still not sure whether good Samaritan law should be enacted or not.
I totally agree with you. Let's hear what the commentators have to say. I'd like to invite the first commentator, Kim Nair from Incheon International High School.
First of all, I want to thank the Incheon Foreign Language High School students for their participation in the Incheon Joint Conference and also their hilarious presentation. Thank you. It is an honor to be able to comment on their well-written research paper. The Good Samaritan Law is an excellent topic that interrelates the role of morality and law in contemporary society. However, I would also like to mention a few shortcomings the paper contains. A study of awareness of teenagers on the Good Samaritan Law aims to answer the question of whether morality should be forced by law in the terms of the Good Samaritan Law. The Good Samaritan Law penalizes people who do not help those in need of aid and protects people from lawsuits when efforts to help are futile. The paper uses two methods, a literature review and a survey of high school students, to research the degree of awareness teenagers have concerning the Good Samaritan Law and to discuss the implementation of the law in South Korea, where it does not exist yet. Through the research methods, the paper concludes that morality is more important and thus the Good Samaritan Law should be implemented in South Korea. However, it claims that further research is required before the legislation can be enacted. The question of whether morality should be forced through law is a controversial issue that will be continuously debated in society. This paper broaches on an appropriate and meaningful issue, but it fails to clarify the research method's adequacy and lacks concrete explanations. Furthermore, the paper needs stronger explanations concerning the role of the questionnaire and given evidence, and needs to be consistent throughout the paper. That the paper does not include a bibliography and does not abide by citation rules strongly harms its credibility. The paper would also have been stronger if the writers evaluated whether the Good Samaritan Law was effective in the countries that implemented the law. Morality shines as true virtue when it is motivated by autonomy rather than compulsion. However, the Good Samaritan Law ironically exists to both protect the people who have shown true virtue in vain and force moral behaviors for the benefit of society's individuals. On a closing remark, I want to deliver extra appreciation for the effort the Incheon Foreign Language School students showed in their outstanding research paper. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, I'd like to welcome Han Da-in from Michu홀외고 High School as the last speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'm so glad to give my comments on this paper, the study of awareness of teenagers on the Good Samaritan Law. The paper investigates the awareness of teenagers on the Good Samaritan Law and suggests that this law can be one solution to remedy the indifference of people in modern society. As the Good Samaritan Law has been a big issue in Korea, the title of the paper introduced the readers to start reading the paper with high expectation. However, the paper has some parts to be corrected. Firstly, this paper misses the very important thing that their focus was on teenagers. Even though the researchers tried to investigate the awareness of teenagers, they did not explain why they consider teenagers to be the most important part regarding their topic. Some people might say that adults who have the virtual power of implementation of the law should be the main focus rather than teenagers. Thus, the explanation of why they chose teenagers seems to be necessary. Secondly, the overall use of words and phrases was vague, unclear, and lacked a clear explanation, so that the content confused readers. Reading throughout the paper, I could not stop asking myself the questions like, what do these exactly mean, or whose opinions are these? To give a few examples, the terms in the literature review part, like goodness or outside interference, were too vague to understand and did not have any clear elaboration. Also, even the definitions that was given was unclear or untrue. Regarding the definition of morality in the beginning of the literature review part, the researchers said that the origin of morality is from the Greek term ethos. However, it seems that the researchers confused the origin of the term and the origin of morality itself. It would have made lots of statements a lot better than now if the paper had a clear elaboration of every term that could be interpreted ambiguously. Thirdly, I would like to comment on the methodology and the result and discussion part specifically. The researchers seem to have a good understanding of participants when doing a survey since they use social networking service, which is most familiar with teenagers. However, the paper did not explain why they chose questionnaire to do their survey. And more importantly, the researchers did not mention what they expected to find out through their survey. The way they showed the results of their survey was also poor. The bar chart might be misleading since each standard was not same. Lastly, a lot of contents were based on unproven assumptions without citing sources, and even a few references that was given was not appropriate. From the introduction part to conclusion part, the researchers keep said that morality is disappearing nowadays. However, how can they assure that morality is disappearing without any evidence? In fact, the society where we are living in today is well developed and has the well-developed legal system to realize morality than ever before. This kind of assumption without citing sources could be easily seen throughout the paper, and it made the readers doubt its reliability. Still, some of the citations, such as reference 11 and 13, were well written. But some citations did not fit in the required form. For example, references that were only referred to as Law and Ethics or High School Social Studies textbook by Mira M made readers confused about the content. This did not include any publishers, dates, or writers. The reference part in the research paper is the most important thing, since it not only determines the reliability of the paper, but also protects the paper from being sued as a plagiarism. Thus, it would have been a lot better if the researchers stated their sources in a more professional way. To add one more thing, I was surprised to see that the paper includes the works from Wikipedia. I would like to recommend the researchers to use more reliable and qualified sources than sources like Wikipedia. To sum up, the paper lacked the what, how, and why parts. I'm sure that the paper would have been a lot better than now if it had included a clear elaboration of definition and statements, appropriate sources, and reasons for their choice of methodologies and survey questions with a clear objective. However, I still appreciate the hard work of the paper and want to praise for the efforts of the researchers. And I think highly of the selected subject, which was interesting and capturing the reader's attention. Thank you.
Thank you, commentators. Is there anyone in the audience who has a question?
Hello, my name is Hee-Dong Park, and I'm a student in Incheon International High School. First of all, thank you for your amazing presentation, but sorry to say I have found a minor flaw, but found it necessary to ask. So I'm really curious about the number of participants, because I know the research paper lists that 100 students have participated, but looking at the description of under graph 5, 139 students have participated. And in addition, in graph 4, if you add up all the numbers of percentage, it does not meet the sum of 100. So I just want to know the opinions of the two speakers. Thank you.
So, would you tell us the question again?
So in the paper, 100 participants have participated in the research, but in the description of graph 5, 139 students have participated. So these numbers quite contradict each other. Thank you.
I think that's our mistake, sorry.
thank you for your impressive speeches. I feel also doubtful about the figures. At first, you said that the research and the paper is based on researching the thoughts of the teenagers about the Samaritan law, but only 100 male and female students participated on that survey and research. So isn't it too small on behalf of all students in Korea?
Well, we admitted and we said that it was one of the limitations of our study. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. That was our limitation of study.
Any other questions?
Hi, I'm Hoon Ji-min from Michu홀외고 Foreign Language High School, and thank you for your presentation. But my question is, you said that we think that it is a task for teenagers to find a way to increase interest consideration for others, but don't you think that Samaritan law lead to the right opposite result, which is the destruction of value of helping others, since the work of helping others become a forced action, not a voluntary one, but because of the Samaritan law? And how do you think of this?
The questioner, you said that I listened that you said that Samaritan law it can invade our autonomy, right? We have presented before.
Can you mention that again, please?
So you mean that implementing Good Samaritan law can force people to rescue others, not persuade, just enforcing?
Yes, that was the point that you mentioned in your research paper.
Okay. In the start of the study, we think that most important thing is human's life. So we should force them to save others, even though there are lots of extremes and that kind of things. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Like the question on the second presentation. I have also a question for the commentator Hamdai. On your commentation, you mentioned that the chart bar didn't have the same standards, and for what showed that the chart bar didn't have the same standards? I'm really curious.
If you see the research paper on the book, you can see that there are lots of results of their survey, but if you see the bar charts, the standard is like 60, 70, 80, and some others are 65 and 75, like this. So if the readers did not look through the bar charts throughoutly, then they might get wrong information about the bar charts.
Other questions?
Before asking a question, I would like to appreciate your wonderful presentation. To add on what she asked, I would like to ask that at the end you said South Korea should implement the law as teenagers should, if they have the ability to help others, teenagers should help others. However, according to your survey, teenagers said that it is hard to help people as they cannot define objectively degree of danger. However, I thought that just defining the degree of danger is hard, and also if we implement the law, they could be punished later. According to Samaritan law, they could be punished later, even though they help others. But I would like to ask, people hesitate to help others because they could be punished through the degree of danger later. But you said teenagers should be forced to help others through the laws could distort their morality, and also
I think the law itself distorts the morality of teenagers as it can make the teenagers to be punished later. So I want you to, guys to ask about how do you think about implementing the law. Mic is not working. So which could distort the morality and through implementing the law. Thank you.
Sorry, we can't hear your last question because the mic is not working. So please tell us one more, please.
I would like to shorten my question. It was really vague and long. The point was that, like, the law itself could destroy the morality of teenagers, as teenagers could be punished through law, as like degree of danger is not defined. And at the end, you guys said like the law should be implemented, even though student could be punished later. And I thought it is one of the main factor that they are disagreeing. They could be punished later. So I want to act. Okay. I wanted to ask you guys about that problem. Like the punishment could distort the morality of teenagers, and saying like you should implement the law later. Thank you.
Very sorry this time also. We haven't thought about it like that kind of question, but I think this can be as I mentioned first, the human's life is the first thing. Okay? So the other part of morality, what can I say? So think about it. If we do not implementing Samaritan law, and then the people die because no one helped them. So, if the case, what do you think about it? I think the people, life of people is more important than those kinds of harm. So, like. The opportunity costs of saving human life is larger than that. I think it is kind of utilitarianism. This is lack of my thinking. So sorry.
Okay, thank you. Due to time constraint, we'll finish the Q&A session right now. With this, the conference session has now come to an end. Thank you for attending this conference despite your busy schedule, and please wait until for the further announcements before we start closing ceremony. Thank you.